Welcome to Climb a Mountain, an indie author's journey podcast diary. Follow Riley each week as he charts the progress of his indie author business. What are his plans? What will he try next? How are his book sales going? What can you learn from his experience? This is the Climb a Mountain podcast diary, and here is your host, Riley Morrison.
Greetings everyone, welcome to the Indie Author Podcast Diary. I'm trying to keep my voice down because it's very early in the morning here and I don't want to wake anyone up. So yeah, this is going to be a bit more of a quiet video. What have I been up to? I'm still working on 7 days later, and I'm probably, I think, just under 60,000 words into it now. I wanted it to be 60,000 words long, so yeah, there's not even really much I can cut out of the book or anything. So yeah, I don't exactly know what I'm going to do. But anyway, I need to wrap things up because I definitely don't want it to be longer than 70,000 words. Or if it's, I can probably tolerate just over 70,000 words, but I really don't want that expectation for the series to be that long. I wanted this to be my easy series sort of thing without all the lit RPG number stuff, but it hasn't turned out that way because it's really just, in some ways, just as complex because there's a lot of like crafting and building and all that type of stuff, which is fine, but I need all the ingredients they're collecting sort of thing, just all the different individual components, and they're getting upgraded equipment. There's no stats and all that sort of stuff, I guess, but it's just, I've got to keep track of how many pieces of polymer they have, or how much scrap metal they have, or wood, stone, hundreds. I've probably added about 50 different inventory items into the game sort of thing. So yeah, I don't know. Considering the book and how crafting's like the important aspect of it, there's not much I can really do with it sort of thing. I need to kind of, go with it. Because if I remove the crafting angle of it, it's pretty much just a straight up post-apocalyptic book then, and not really game lit. So, I don't know. I wanted it to be crafting anyway, I guess. So it's just made the book a whole lot harder to do, I guess. Which I always seem to do. Like nearly every project I start, I imagine it's going to be this fairly short, easy thing sort of thing, and it just never ends up that way. So yeah. Oh well, you'd think I would have learned my lesson by now. I'm 13, 12, something like books in. And I've actually got 3 books I never released as well, so I don't know if I include them as finished books, I guess, because I need to edit them. But the first draft of them is complete, so... And even that very first series, unreleased series, ended up as I originally thought it was just going to be, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 books, 3 books, maybe a trilogy. But it looks like the main series is going to be 4 books, and I've already written the 45,000 word prequel, and I could probably even expand it beyond 4 books, which is good in some ways. Don't get me wrong, to create a world that big, as well as being able to sort of expand on it. If the series took off, I could have a 6 or 7 plus book series, is great. But yeah, it's just actually writing all those books. So at the present moment, I'm getting about 3,000 words done a day and editing them as well. So the whole book of 7 days later is pretty clean. I'm actually liking what I'm doing. Just, writing. I'm usually writing 3 chapters and then going back and editing them. Since I switched to my chapters, now I'm in the last 2 Raid Slayer books. And now 7 days later, I'm trying to stick to 1,000 to 1,500 word chapters, which is pretty short, but no one's complained about it. And I know a few other authors do it, like Chris Fox was the one that put me onto it. But I actually like it as a writer too, because I can just have 1 scene per chapter, and I can just set easy goals sort of thing, rather than just word count goals. I set a goal of I'll do 3 chapters today. And often I'm doing over 3,000 words, like a chapter's probably 1,200 words long, say, roughly. So yeah, it's probably closer to 3,500 words, basically. So yeah, it's a good way to set short goals daily. I'm going to write 3 chapters. So bang, 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 done, edit it, and then you move on. And I'm not saying there won't be another edit afterwards, because I'm going to have to proofread it and then like make sure all the ingredients, because I mean there's just so many different ingredients I'm adding, like stuff they collect, that I need to make sure that each thing they collect actually does something, because otherwise I'm going to end with 10 things like paper or a pencil or whatever, all this random crap they've collected that won't do anything. So I need to make sure it all does. If I was not so lazy when it came to planning, I might have actually written up like notes of all the different things that I'm going to craft and all the ingredients they need. I'll probably do that actually when I finish the book, just to be smart about it, because as is it's kind of haphazard and I just whatever. I need to keep better notes. So yeah. Other than that, I've been trying voice to text. I always get it mixed up, text to voice, but it's voice to text. I was trying the Google one earlier in March, but I found it okay. But then I figured the amount of editing I had to do afterwards, it just wasn't worth it, basically. So now I'm trying other options. I've even tried a mobile option of a couple. And I want to start with ones that have a free trial, because I know like Dragon on the Go, I think it's called, is very expensive. And anyway, judging by the reviews on the Google Play Store, the Dragon one isn't even the best. So I don't know, everyone says it's the market leader, like even the mobile version. I know the desktop version is. And yet, yeah, it's got a fairly low review score. So, and some of the free options, like where you just pay a smaller fee, actually have better. I can't remember the name of the one I'm trying now. Voice Notes, I think it's called. The mobile version left some to be desired. It was all right. But yeah, the desktop version was actually pretty good. I really wanted it on my phone. I mean, I'd love to be in a position where I could just go on a walk and just dictate the book as I go. I mean, I tried that yesterday type thing. I went on a long walk and was dictating it. And I just had to have my phone out the whole time looking at it, because not only did it get stuff wrong, I was telling it like comma, new paragraph and all the rest of it, and half the time it'd just write what I said. So even though they're like command words sort of thing, to get it to put in punctuation and all the rest of it. So yeah, like I just love to be able to go on a walk, whatever, and be able to dictate the books, because I dictated 2 chapters yesterday, one on the desktop and one on mobile, and it just felt, I don't know, like, I suppose it didn't feel like I'd written it in some ways, I guess, but it just felt so much easier, like there wasn't just sitting at the computer and tapping away at a keyboard, basically. So that's my end goal. And I mean, I know I've put on a bit of weight since I've become a more of a hardcore writer sort of thing, so I definitely want to get onto that, as well as, just stay fit and be able to do fitness stuff and actually be able to write. So hopefully these voice things will get better and I'll find one that actually works for me. I don't know if it's worse because I'm Australian too. I mean, a lot of these are Americans, probably designed for Americans. Though I know Americans have lots of different dialects, or not accents, I don't know, whatever you call it, basically. Like someone that lives in Texas sounds different to someone that lives in Virginia, who sounds different to someone that lives in California, for example. So yeah. And I'm sure there's different words maybe as well that I use that Americans don't use, and all the rest. Actually, I know that for a fact, but yeah. And all the rest, so like we call it aluminium. I think you spell it aluminum or something. So anyway, it's done okay, and I can't even say it's really saved time, because I swear by the time I'd finished dictating it and editing it afterwards and all the rest of it, it probably didn't save me any time. But anyway, so other than that, I'm going to finish that, and then I'm speaking to my co-writer soon, and hopefully we can start planning our co-writing series, which I kind of hope we can sort of both do on the side a bit, because we both want to get the rest of our books out too, because we're got people waiting for our next book basically. So yeah, hopefully we can do that on the side. But as we get into the co-writing stuff, I'll definitely talk about that more, because I really think that co-writing is a great thing and a lot of people are doing it, and I think you can have a lot of success doing it. So there'll be more on that later. Well, other than that, I think that about covers everything. Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Riley's Indie Author Journey podcast. Please subscribe and share the podcast with your author friends. Have a good author week writing and selling your books. Until next time, take care.